you tell me Cloe was an informer?
We thought it would be safer if you didn't know.
Safer? Well, she was caught, wasn't she? And now they've taken her away.
Oh, no. Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. And I'm next. They're going to take me, too.
Calm down, sweetie. That's not true.
You don't know that.
Look, Patsy, please.
Don't give up. We need you now more than ever.
I don't care what you need. Find someone else to be your spy.
Listen, there are so few of us who are willing and strong enough to take on the Chosen.
That's right. You could do it, Patsy. You know you can.
So welcome to Series 3, Episode 13 of Conversational Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Hello.
Sabine.
Hi.
Colin.
What up?
Matt.
Hi, everyone.
And our special guest podcaster for today, Patsy.
Hi.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. Before we jump into the episode, we're going to shine the spotlight on our guest and just find out a little bit about them before we jump in. So, Patsy, I'm going to grill you for a little bit. Let's start with an easy question. Who's your best or worst characters in the tribe?
My favorites are Patsy, Trudy.
Not Dowell?
Leave her alone. She just started.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm out of here.
I'm not a huge fan of Jay. And I'm not really liking Tai San. Sorry.
No, that's my cue to exit, I guess.
Yeah, Lance, you can edit that, right? Say Dowell.
I get to stay here.
Okay, and who are your best or worst couples in the show?
Ooh, that's a hard one because I liked Bray and Danny a bit, but my favorite couple is a non-existent one, so I don't really have a favorite one.
Okay, who's your couple that never was?
Patsy and Casey, of course.
Ah, okay, cool.
What?
That's a popular one, yeah.
Yeah.
I never heard of that before.
You haven't?
No? It's like the pairing that never happened, yeah.
Oh, all right.
They're adorable.
Hmm.
They are.
I have to boo you about Danny and Bray, though. But
I know, most people do. But I don't like Bray and Amber. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Now I'm staying. I'm sorry, Lance. I'm just taking the piss. I apologize.
No, it's fine. Most people like the two with someone else is fine. Okay, yeah, this is quite a telling question. What's your favourite and worst series?
My favorite series is the second season. I don't really like season 4 because so many of the original mole rats are gone.
Yeah.
And they add in so many strangers. So no, I don't like season 4. And I love season 2.
She can be in the club now.
Do you have a favourite storyline?
Brady's kidnapping and the transition into the Chosen. I would have loved to have seen more of the Chosen, to get to know more about them, to see more of their different ceremonies, the different kind of members, and what kind of parts they did. Yeah,
no, absolutely. We only get little glimpses into the ceremonies, and the different coloured robes were briefly shown, and we definitely should have got more intricate detail about them.
Yeah.
They have such a great setup, and then they just become a plot device.
Yeah.
In season 3.
It would have been great to see more of them. I absolutely agree on that one.
They shouldn't have they should not have gotten rid of the Chosen so quickly. They should have just removed the entire Technos and continued the Chosen story.
Yeah, would have loved to have seen the return of Jaffa. So.
Or at least made the breakdown of the Chosen not so simple as cutting the head off the snake.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely had a Independence Day vibe to it. Just blow up the mothership, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. And
true. Do you have a worst storyline in the show?
Worst storyline? The Technos?
That counts. That's fine. At least you didn't say Amber's Resurrections. That's fine.
Probably close second, Vance.
No, there
I didn't even think about that
other
one.
worst ones. There are plenty of other worst ones that can go to the top.
And all the sudden deaths that, like Dal, I didn't like that at all.
What's your favorite Tribe song?
Abba Messiah and The Dream Must Stay Alive. I can't make up my mind.
Good choices, good choices. Yeah, Tribe styles. Do you have a favorite look of a certain character, and what's your worst look on a character?
My favorites, Patsy's outfit in the double wedding in season 2, the zebra outfit, and Trudy's purple outfit in season 4 and 5.
Oh, yes, that one is
Yeah.
killer.
I think those two are my favorites, and I love pink, so I have to say Gel's outfit.
Okay.
It's a very adorable.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Worst outfit, I'm not entirely sure, but like when the kids in season 1 had like they had something on their hair. It was just a mess. I'm not sure if you know what I'm talking about.
Zoot's funeral?
No, I like they had like these squares on their face and something just put on the top of their heads.
They had quite a few awful outfits.
Definitely went through a phase of questionable style for kids.
Yeah.
No parents to guide them. And a bunch of weird teenagers to look after them. You can blame the girls.
They were experimenting. I mean, it gets worse when they have those triangle pointy cones coming out of their heads and stuff.
Yeah. That was horrible.
Didn't like the Pokemon look?
No. All right, so let's jump into the episode. So series 3, episode 13. The screenplay was done by Carrie Rose. It was directed by Janet Stubbins, and the episode synopsis was read out by Patsy.
Bray is despondent after Amber's departure. While in the mall, Tai San tries to make the Guardian see a different point of view, and the spying game becomes increasingly dangerous for Patsy and Chloe.
So May digs for information after hearing that Patsy is upset, and Trudy explains to her that it's because Chloe was caught spying and has been sent to the mines. I mean, panel, that was quite surprising, because we have just lost out and we've just been informed that Chloe's disappeared, and it's all off screen. Yeah, what are your thoughts, and why do you think it was handled this way?
I think it was unexpected. Like with Dal, they knew Ashworth was leaving, so they were able to make a big production out of his death, his evening the show. I have a feeling that they didn't know that the actress playing Chloe, something happened and she couldn't be there, because I don't understand why you would have her disappear without even a single scene showing her spying or getting caught or even being taken away. This definitely felt like a Paul situation.
Yeah, I agree. That is how it felt. It was just so sudden, but it does give it that extra creepy vibe. You know, that 1 second she's here, the next second she's not. But at this point in time, I never assumed we would not see Chloe again for a long time. You know, I in this episode, especially at the beginning, I still had hope that we would get a glimpse of where they had sent Chloe.
It was kind of sudden, like something you don't expect to happen. Not that quickly after Dal died.
So, do we know officially what happened to the actress? Because I've heard rumors, but I'm not too sure if it's like the same rumors that everyone else has heard.
For this season, no.
No, for this point in time, I had no idea.
Yeah, very weird. I love Patsy, and I think of all the random like just characters just disappearing out of the blue. I think this one affected me the most because I felt that Patsy had one of the biggest potentials to become a great character.
I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, this one hurt, and I don't know why they. Well, I heard a rumor that her agent wanted her to get more money, and they said no, so they just totally just fired her. But I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Do you think they should have filmed a little tiny scene just to make it work? Like they could have just had a little stunt double to show her being dragged away, just a quick glimpse. Like, or do you like it open ended like this?
It's a bit strange that they didn't, isn't it? Because it's not like she doesn't come back. later in the series.
Yeah.
But yeah, so clearly something happened. But yeah, no, it was odd, very surprising.
Preferred them finding something to film, like you mentioned, a stunt double or anything. You don't have to show her face. But I do think Sabine is onto something. The fact that Cloe could disappear so suddenly, no warning, we don't even get to see what happened, we only get to hear about it in the aftermath, does add a creepiness and a level to the danger. It's like they made her no longer exist just like that. You know, there's no fanfare. And after getting such a goodbye to Dal and, you know, getting a chance to process his loss, for Cloe to just blink out of existence, there is something very unsettling about that. So there could be some merit to, you know, the way they did it. I don't like the reaction characters have to it, but
yeah,
it could have been really good if the characters had reacted more appropriately.
Yeah.
They should have at least been more scared.
It's a bit odd that they didn't react. Like, they lost someone they've known since the virus started, and no one cares.
Except for Patsy and Casey. They're the only two who care.
Yeah.
Like, Salene should have reacted.
Yeah.
She was like a mother to Cloe, and she didn't say anything.
Yeah, that's the one that bothered me most, actually. I agree on that. That's
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
for Salene to just accept it and not even say anything, not even be whiny to Ryan about it or anything at all. Or Ryan not having a big response to it. It's odd.
Ryan not having a response to it is the worst, I think. More than even Alice, because Alice makes me so angry in this episode. But Ryan having no response to his adopted daughter.
Yeah.
He crawled through a barn to get her a rat just to put a smile on her face. He loved that little girl. And not to even care to see that she got taken away. Why? Because she was still being a mall rat, you know, and trying to help you guys any way she could. And you can't raise an eyebrow? Nothing?
We don't really see much of Ryan, though, this episode, do we?
Yeah, we see him here and there, but it's... Why on earth, if Ryan didn't know that she was spying, why on earth didn't he get mad at Alice?
Yeah.
And the other way around, if he didn't know, why on earth was he okay with Cloe taking that risk? And with now Patsy taking a risk?
It's obvious he didn't know, but so that means he should have been upset when he found out. You know,
he should be furious with them for not telling him and for them to allow the girl to take such a part. They should have taken the part themselves.
Yeah.
I wonder if they even told Ryan why Cloe was taken away.
Either
They
way,
admit to him?
he should have had a reaction to knowing Cloe got taken away. Because it clearly was not a well-kept secret. Everybody knew that she got taken away because she was doing something she wasn't supposed to. And that would be enough for you to realize, oh, Cloe was spying. She was trying to bring these guys down, trying to get information. And you don't have to know why she was spying. You don't need to know that Alice and Ellie put her up to it. All you need to know is that this child you cared about was trying to help you in some way, and this is what happened to her, and have a reaction to that. And it's strange to me that Patsy and Casey are the only ones who care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest problem is how the show keeps lingering these disappearances of these characters. They make it feel like they're going to come back any other episode. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like it.
It's the Zoot syndrome. It's the Amber syndrome. Getting rid of a character permanently and then realizing all the wasted potential, realizing after the fact what you could have done with that character, how much the fans enjoyed them and would have liked to see more of them. They stop committing to it. They stop committing unless the actor literally leaves the show. And even then, they don't want to commit to it.
Yeah, these writers, and especially the creators, they have to know that sometimes less is more. When you do less for a character and you kill them off or they go off in the sunset, sometimes it can be a lot better for the show.
I mean, and yeah, in this scene, we have to talk about it. Like Trudy's seriously creepy brainwashing moment that happens with May. Yeah, what did you make of that panel?
It definitely speaks to, it made sense to me. It's like I figured that's, you know, where she has to go. Like, I always love that way she just kind of wargs out of herself once again, disassociating, and but it's so honest. There, like what she says, there was no fear. It was inevitable. You know, after being pushed down so hard, being abused, having her child used against her, being held captive, and having to deal with Java's abuse. Yeah, it was inevitable. There was no fighting. That's where he broke her, you know. And Antonia's acting is just really good and creepy. The only thing about the scene that throws me off is May's confusion. It doesn't make sense to me that May should be confused that Trudy didn't choose the Chosen because she thought they were a good idea, but that for her there really was no other option but to join these guys, because May has made the exact same decision. Why is she confused that the same thing happened to Trudy?
Yeah, and it's weird because he's been told by Trudy, sure, while Trudy was undercover, why she had no choice but to play Supreme Mother. I mean, when May first joined the Mallrats, Trudy was still pretending that she got away. And May even made comments about it, about how she must have enjoyed it. So her confusion now is so odd, and it feels like May is fully brainwashed at that point. It's like she actually believes in all the things that Chosen are saying. Because that's how she responds in my eyes, like an actual follower.
Yeah, like Luke would be confused if he heard Trudy saying that, but May should not be confused.
May only thinks about herself, so she's probably just trying to put Trudy in a position where she has to give answers, kind of.
Like, I get that. I get her using this against Trudy, being like, ooh, that's a nice bit of information, I can tell. But she's genuinely confused in that moment, and I don't understand why she finds it confusing that Trudy joined because she didn't have a choice. I mean, I can understand it being, maybe surprised, like, oh, I thought you liked this, but it turns out you didn't have a choice, like me and all the rest of us. But to be legit confused by it, like May.
Yeah. You'd have to be Salene to be confused by that.
Maybe I read the scene wrong. I kind of got from it was that May was kind of confused that Trudy was brainwashed. I think she kind of had it in her mind that Trudy was just going along with it. But when she saw how kind of brainwashed she was, that kind of threw her. That's kind of how I saw it, but I don't know if that's right.
Good interpretation. Maybe that's what it was. She's like, oh, you're really broken. I didn't realize it was that bad.
I thought you were just playing along, but yeah, you're actually deep into it.
Weird scene.
That could be. Well, you have a fair point there.
Yeah, but I think sort of either way, there's something a bit odd about it, because I remember watching that and sort of thinking at the end of it, oh, that, like May's reaction, and then when she goes to the Guardian later, I was like, oh, I didn't really take that from that scene. Have I like misunderstood this completely? But then even like when I watched it again, it's just, I don't know if there's maybe something that doesn't quite, I don't know if it's the delivery or what, but there's something that doesn't quite fit in like what Trudy's saying and what May's getting out of it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, my other kind of question on that is like, do you think this was thrown in there now to kind of ease Trudy's acceptance back away from the Chosen later on?
It probably was.
If you don't realize this girl was a victim by now, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it was, but geez, I don't know how anyone could still be watching her and not realize.
With how many people over the years have been mad at the things that Trudy did and how they viewed it? Yes, they needed the obvious.
Because the show does
that it's
do these heavy-handed reminders at times. So I think.
And at times, in Trudy's case, it's apparently needed because people always forget that she was brainwashed. So clearly, it needed that reminder. Probably a couple more for it to sink in with certain people.
I find that so strange about certain characters. Like, you'll have characters who do the most despicable things, but the audience is so quick to forgive them and give them a pass. And all you need is one little excuse, for their behavior. It's okay because their mom and dad didn't treat them very well or something bad happened to them. But then you have other characters and there's no forgiveness. There's no grace given to them for when they too, have something bad happen to them and they mess up or they do something terrible. It's just like, oh no, they're evil, they're terrible across the board. And it's like, are you serious? I just think that's interesting.
Yeah, it did feel like a good reminder of, look, this girl is really, really brainwashed. She really had no choice. It's obvious on that part.
They didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you that maybe people who may have been watching Trudy had not picked up on, this wasn't just a matter of she didn't have a choice, that they really did scramble her brains. And they need to make that clear to you, that it's not just I was going along with it because I was scared and I was worried for my daughter, but there was more to it. They rewired the synapses, Like she's not in her right mind.
And who can blame her for that after everything?
Don't you look fabulous?
Straight out of a fashion magazine.
That's not funny.
Well,
I don't think I'm cut out to be a spy.
look, if anyone can do this, Patsy, it's you.
Yeah, but if you really don't feel... You don't have to do it. We'll find another way.
No, I do. I do have to do it.
Are you sure?
They took Chloe. They're evil.
That a girl?
Yeah. What did you make of Patsy's fears and her eventual decision to carry on?
I hate this. I hate this so much. This makes me angry. Their reaction to Alice and Ellie's reaction to one, finding out that Chloe's been taken, is basically non-existent. Their lack of care for Patsy's genuine and legit fear, her sense of betrayal. You put my best friend in there too, and you didn't even tell me, and now I gotta find out this way, now that she's gone, and this is the kind of danger you're putting me in. And their reaction to her being rightfully scared and not wanting to do it anymore, the guilt tripping, they make me so angry. I am adding Alice to my character assassination list, because this is not Alice.
No, I'm with you. The reaction was awful.
How can you respond that way to a child who's putting her life in danger to get you information?
They don't care. All they cared about was their own safety. Like, they didn't care if Chloe got caught. They wouldn't care if anyone got caught as long as they were safe.
Yeah, but if they didn't care about anyone else, why on earth not send Casey in?
Because she said they only care about themselves, and if they don't trust KC to do the job, that's why they wouldn't use him.
Yeah, fair enough.
For all they know, Casey could just go and tell any chosen guard that he was a spy, and who sent him to be a spy.
Even though he's proven he'd never do that, I get that they don't trust him. It may not be completely fair, but I get it. It's just their they're so callous to Patsy in this moment, and it's messed up when Ellie is the more sensitive of the two.
Yeah, I found that a bit odd.
And my brain just keeps going. Especially, well, I get why Ellie is more sensitive, because she realizes what happened with Jack. She blamed herself so much for what happened with Jack. Why on earth risk these two innocent girls?
Yeah.
So I get why it upsets Ellie, because she's realizing what she's done. Even after what happened with Jack, she put these kids in danger. But
Alice is the more mature of the two. She's already been established that she would need a Jack moment to realize the danger she was putting these kids in and to care about it.
Yeah, it's a complete misdirection of her character. I don't understand it. Like, she's aware of usually what people's actions result in, and to have to see her just be so nonchalant about it, it's like, what? This ain't the Alice that you've shown.
No, I could have believed it if Tai San responded that way. But
yeah, I hated it. I hated it.
And Patsy's reasons for continuing. I will not let my friend fall in vain. And Alice has the nerve to smile at her. I want to slap the red out of her hair. It makes me so mad. I'm just like, you do not care. You promised this little girl we won't let anything bad happen to you. And then after finding out about Chloe, you don't even have a moment to question your actions, to wonder if this is the right thing, if you should continue. It's Ellie who tells Patsy she doesn't have to do it anymore if she's too afraid. Not Alice.
It's like they've completely forgot who Alice is and what she stood for.
I mean, I do kind of understand why Patsy wishes to continue in the end.
Mm-hmm.
She might still feel a bit of guilt, but for helping Trudy get the mole rat's trust when she returns after having lost Brady and gotten the fake baby back. I think she might feel a bit guilty, and she wants to make Chloe's memory not go to waste, kind of.
Yeah. Patsy's actions are fine.
It makes complete sense for her to do what she does.
Says a lot about how much she's grown up, you know.
Yeah.
And
It's just the people older than her that are being insensitive jerks. At a level I would expect from Lex and not from the rest of them.
yeah, it's just misplaced characterization because the plot needs to go forward. But I don't understand why you have to write Alice this way. I don't get it.
I'm not sure I completely agree that it's out of character for Alice. I do think she can be like really single-minded about stuff, but also, like in her mind, she is like now having to take the place of Bray, basically, and kind of lead everything from within. So I can see where she's coming from. I don't agree with it. I don't necessarily think it's out of character for her, and also considering what she thinks she has to be doing.
I guess you do have a point there. I mean, if I think about when Alice first came to the mall and everything with Tai San, just, you know, to make sure her sister got the help she needed. She was willing to do anything, whatever it takes, everyone be damned, in order to get her sister healthy again and to protect her.
But this is the same Alice who also throws her sister into the ring of fire. So I personally can't see it as this is who she is. This is, you know, in line with her. But I respect your opinion, Matt. I can't see it.
I don't think Bray would have made them spy. I think he would have said something rather than being like Alice, who's just like continue.
I guess it would be easier for me to swallow if she showed any concern, remorse, or second guessing, but she never does. Maybe that's the part that's the hardest for me. Not the decision she's making to risk these kids and her sister in the future, but the fact that she just doesn't seem to care that she's risking anybody and doesn't feel anything when they pay the price for the risk that she talked them into taking. You know, Ellie is still feeling bad about Jack, you know, but Alice feels nothing about what just happened to Chloe, feels nothing that Patsy is afraid. The only thing she feels is, oh no, we'll lose our spy. Come on, Patsy, you got to keep doing it. That's all. And for me, that's where it really just, who are you?
It's still strange, the big contrast between season 2 Alice and season 3 Alice.
I think maybe if things were worse at the mall, like if they would have been able to realistic, because I honestly don't feel they've done a good job since the first 3 episodes of showing just how stressful their captivity is, then I might buy her taking the hard nose, you know, approach. Like, we're in a war, but life isn't that stressful in the mall. Their captivity isn't really that bad. They've stopped showing how bad it could actually be. These guys they're just bored in the mall. That's it. They're just bored in the mall. And so it's like the circumstances they're in aren't extreme enough for her to be this heartless about the action she has to take.
Yes.
Yeah, because I can imagine that her days at the farm than she has as a slave.
I mean, we'll come to this towards the end of the episode because it is quite ridiculous. Like, they can they can sneak in a whole computer. It's just ridiculous how lax this whole imprisonment situation in the mall is. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know why they continue to do it. Yeah, we'll come to that in a little bit.
Maybe you should have taken my advice.
About what?
About Amber. Do something stupid, remember? I didn't mean wimp out and leave Bray an empty field. Owen, don't believe everything you hear about me, Pride. I've got some good points. And I could be a very, very good friend.
So yeah, let's talk about that. What do you make of Ebony's continued efforts to get back with Bray? And then what do you think of her trying to get with Pride?
Loved it.
Yes,
Explain.
Ebony.
Very.
Finally, a real relationship is about to develop.
I guess that's what she wants today.
She likes boys with sticks.
Her decision seemed to change mid-sentence. Like, what does she want?
A bit desperate, maybe.
Yeah, desperate, definitely. But I also kind of wonder if her getting with Pride would be just her tiny way of annoying Amber. I mean, just think about it. Okay, so you left this pretty boy behind. Well, I'll just take that one then, and show you what a great guy he is. And it would definitely bug Bray as well. There's no doubt in my mind that seeing Ebony and Pride all over each other would annoy him.
To be her wanting to annoy someone, she is not interested in Pride. Everything about Pride rubs her the wrong way. You know what I mean? And especially his obsession with Amber will really annoy her. So I think it just is a way to annoy somebody. Like, that's the only... She's bored. I don't know.
She's bored. And honestly, right now, she's seen Pride fight Lex. You know, it's... Right now, he's the strongest male around if she can't have Bray. And there's no way she's throwing herself at Lex.
She just wants everything Amber have, or have had.
Yeah. Today she wants everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a pattern, you know. The only guy in the end that they haven't tried to share is Zoot.
Yeah, that could have been interesting.
Really, just about who is she trying to annoy right now? To be honest, you know, in its own bubble, it's a funny Ebony moment. You know, if you just ignore everything else, in its own bubble, it's very funny Ebony behavior. You know, to be like annoyed that he didn't go off with Amber, which would leave Bray free for her to continue orbiting and trying to mess with and keep Amber occupied someplace else. And then yet at the same time, okay, I'll flirt with you. Who knows who I'll bug doing that? Who knows where this is going to go? By itself, it's kind of funny.
It is. And plus, Ebony has a habit of trying to attach herself to the guy who's showing himself the most leaderish of the group. And Bray currently is not doing that. Well, she knows Lex isn't leader material, so that leaves Pride, because everyone else to her is just nobodies.
So you think it's kind of like a power play as well, to try and...
Yeah, kind of.
I honestly think she's bored. She's bored, you guys. They've given this girl no real point of view of what she wants in the season so far. It keeps fluctuating. So right now, she's bored. This is what she wants today. To cause a little chaos, I guess.
And let's be fair, he isn't that without a shirt on.
He's easy on the eyes. It would annoy the crap out of Amber if she found out that Pride and Ebony had knocked boots. It would annoy the crap out of her.
Pride would never, but yeah.
We wouldn't, but you know how annoyed Amber would be if she came back and found out that...
Just imagine the look on her face when Lex tells her, because he absolutely would.
Oh, Ebony would have had so much fun with that! And now I wish I'd seen it. I mean, not poor Pride, he didn't deserve it, but man, that would have been fun to watch Ebony just drive Amber crazy with that, because Amber would have lost her mind. She would have. She would not have taken that well.
Nope. And you know that whatever Ebony does, it always has a reason. Whether it's just plain boredom and he's, you know, a nice boy toy for the moment, or it's the combination of having a boy toy and annoying everyone else. It just feels very Ebony.
Or maybe, once again, deep down inside, she is hoping that Bray still truly cares about her and that she can somehow make him jealous.
There's always that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a teenager after all.
I'm hearing a lot of negative comments about Ebony right now, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Well, I was being negative, so have at it. Come at me, brah.
The chemistry between Bray and Ebony is amazing. It's nothing that we've seen before in this entire galaxy. If today she made up her mind to say that she wants to be with Bray, then let's encourage it. this is good for not only the series, but for all of us as human beings. Why wouldn't we fight for this? Why wouldn't we want this?
You mean encourage it for the good of the tribe?
For the good of our souls.
I guess the reason I don't encourage eBay, even though I love their scenes together and I love their banter and I love the back and forth, it can be a lot of fun. And I agree, there's a cool chemistry in there. The reason I don't encourage eBay is because I know that Ebony doesn't actually like who Bray is. At the end of the day, Bray is so many things that she can't stand in a person. You know, she wants him to be somebody else, and that's not love, you know? So that's the only reason I can't really encourage it, is because I know she doesn't actually love him. She's infatuated, she's obsessed, but she doesn't love who he actually is. She wouldn't be happy with Bray. He would drive her insane.
That's fine. All love is crazy.
Toxic love is crazy, Carlin.
And toxic love is what keeps people from coming back. I'm for it.
That's fine. You can like it. It's okay. I'm just explaining why I can't be behind you on it. That's all.
Ebony's obsession with Bray is just, you know, her wanting the prom king. He's a prize to be won.
It's the fact that he doesn't love her back. I think that really it triggers all of her insecurities. At the end of the day, she wasn't good enough. You know, the family she grew up in, it was always about win or die, you know, and it definitely shaped Ebony. Him not loving her back, I think, is just a massive trigger. She can't handle it.
I think they owe it to themselves to try again. Just try. See what happens. They might be happy. They might not be happy, but it's more than likely they'll be happy.
Look, I've told you before, I'm thinking. But about what? Or should I say who? Hey, leave it out, okay? Listen, Bray, you're not the only one hurting over a woman. And at least yours hasn't been held prisoner by a bunch of maniacs.
Yeah, panel, what do you make of Bray's sulking here? And also Lex's continued push to reunite with Tai San, everyone else's feelings be damned.
It's annoying.
Sorry, but the man has a point. As annoying as it is, he has a point. Because Bray is just being a sulky little brat right now.
He's being Bray.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, we call Trudy moody, but Bray is something else. Yeah, for once in my life, I agree with Lex on this. Rather than sit around and gun up and do something. Actually do something. I mean, he just spent a lovely night with someone he claims he loves. And yeah, sure, she went away to gather up reinforcements. So why not make sure that when that woman comes back, everything is sorted to perfection. Everyone you already have there, the most ready state to attack.
But wait, hold on. Lex just wants to attack straight away. He doesn't want to wait for any reinforcements to come. He's single-minded, as you said before in the previous episode. He just wants to get Tai San out. That's all he cares about. Obviously, yeah, Bray's being moody, but he can have a little moment to be depressed. Like, he just lost, again, the woman he loves. He just got her back. He doesn't know if she can come back, if she can be safe, if she's like going to be harmed. He doesn't know anything like that. So he's allowed a moment to be depressed. And Lex is like, yeah, just Tai San. That's all he's thinking about. So, I mean, the two aren't that much difference from each other in their thought processes. So I don't think that's fair.
No, I agree with you, Lance. One of the reasons I like the scene is it's classic Lex and Bray. They are more alike than they're different in so many ways, you know. This argument is because they both think the same way. They're both hung up on the women they love, and that's all they can think about. Bray isn't even thinking about his mall rat friends or poor Danny or anybody. And he has good reason to be sulking. I totally agree with you there, too. I mean, it's not fun to watch. Sulky Bray's never fun to watch, but he has genuine reason to be feeling down in the dumps right now. Again, because they didn't resolve anything in their relationship, you know. So her going away, there's no sense of security now that she's left. They didn't fix anything in their relationship. They're just together again. They never got to the root of why they were separated in the first place. And Lex is too. He is just zeroed in on his wife. Yeah, he makes a good point, but it's like you said, it's not because he cares about the rest of the mall rats or beating the chosen, or it's just because I want my woman, you know, and it's just Lex and Bray being Lex and Bray.
I actually loved all of Lex and Bray's scenes in that episode because they're just being them. They're showing I want to say Lex shows a different side of himself. Kind of. He kind of takes on a more of a leader compared to Bray, who's just sulking over Amber.
Mm-hmm.
But I really loved Bray's comment. He said something about, "Don't you understand the meaning of no?" I love that one.
No, Lex doesn't.
Oh, yeah. And oh.
Lex is still learning the meaning of no.
Will he ever learn it?
Nope.
No.
Listen, bottom line, I think Bray is feeling down because he just realized he's been used like a piece of meat by Amber, and it was just a one night stand. So I can understand why he's feeling down. I think we've all been there, but I don't want to see this.
Honestly, if I were Bray, I would be concerned about that too, because twice the love of his life has ended their relationship without discussing it with him. So he has no sense of trust now that she's going to do what she's off to do. He has no way to guarantee that Amber won't at some point while she's gone decide their relationship's over and not even bother to tell him that.
Or to come back.
Right, so
True.
He can't be sanguine about the fact that she's off doing something that's supposed to be for the cause and feel secure about it. He's like, I can't trust that she will come back to me, or that something else won't happen, something she might hear about me and decide I don't want to be with him anymore, and I'll be the last to know. I won't even be informed that I don't have a relationship anymore,
But the big question is, why on earth did he allow her to leave on her own?
She went with some other of her tribe mates.
Yeah, her other boyfriends.
But still.
She made it pretty clear she didn't want him with her. You're needed here, buddy.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, but if she feels he's needed here and he loves her so much, why not do something useful? Make sure you don't stay behind him playing.
Because she's playing the game, Sabine.
Just classic Lex and Bray. Lex is a doer. Doesn't mean what he's doing is always the smart thing, but he definitely is proactive, where Bray is he's more of a brooder,
Yeah, it's one of those things in it where you totally get where they're both coming from, but they're both right and they're both wrong. I think I'm more on kind of Team Lex for this one. It's all very well sort of Bray saying, "Oh, we need to plan, I'm thinking," but he obviously isn't. He's just sulking. So obviously Lex is going to get annoyed about that.
Had Bray actually been sitting down, trying to come up with a plan, then sure. No, I agree. Bray just isn't doing anything, and I get why Lex is fed up with that.
Mm.
Because the woman he loves is indeed captured by a bunch of idiots.
And at the end of the day, Lex is an inherently selfish person. What he's concerned about is what everybody should be concerned about at any given time. It's just true to who they are, the scene. I think that's what makes it good, I think it'd be more on Bray's side if it wasn't such a pain in the butt to watch him sulk.
Mm-hmm.
Be very careful, Tai San.
Love and hate, two sides of the same coin. One can become another with the flip of a finger. Can you imagine what it's like to love with the same raw passion as you hate? Can you imagine that?
Yeah. What do you make of the effect that Tai San is having on the Guardian?
Jaffa has a crush.
Yep.
He has far too much power over him.
Mm-hmm.
It's rather annoying. Sorry.
I like that it reminds you that he's supposed to be a teenage boy. At the end of the day, no matter how many ducks he has in a row, no matter how clever, smart he is, he can be taken low by a pretty face, a girl. He just wants that girl's attention. He wants her approval. He's trying to get it. He's trying to impress her. And she's just like, you need to get to my level. And you can see, he gets all defensive. He's acting like a 15-year-old zoot in this conversation with her, and there's just something about seeing him be reduced to that. And then, all upset because he didn't impress the girl that he likes, despite everything he's got, all this power, and she should be impressed, but she's not, and he doesn't know what to do with that. I just think there's something about that.
He seems as uncomfortable and unknowing women as Jack was. It's like no girl ever paid attention to him in his life before, or at least not in in that way.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's ever been attracted to a girl this way, or attracted to anyone aside from Zoot this way, and want, he could get Zoot's attention, and then he could make up make a fantasy of what their relationship was once Zoot was gone. And this might be the first time since then he's become infatuated with somebody and can't speak her language. He can't figure out what he can say and do to impress her. Zoot was probably a lot easier to maneuver,
Yeah, what a weird couple. And I never really liked them together.
I don't think you're supposed to. I do find her method to be a little interesting. I don't think I agree with it all that much. Does she really think that she can get in his head and make him think differently? Seems a little naive for her.
I was going to bring this up, and this scene, I felt a bit weird in this scene because what's happening here between Tai San and the Guardian? Is she not aware of what could possibly happen? They're still trying to figure each other out. He's trying to figure out his feelings, and she's trying to see what she can play on with his feelings. But he's the head of the invading tribe. He could easily abuse his position on her. And I'm not sure Tai San is kind of aware of that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think she's just very confident that she can get away with anything as long as he has his interest.
I will say this is where I do think they kind of fall a little bit flat with what Tai San's doing, because Lance, you just said it doesn't seem like she seems to understand the power imbalance here and what he could do if he wanted to. And they do seem a little wishy-washy with that. There are scenes where Tai San seems very aware that she should be fearful of this person using their power against her and forcing themselves on her. And then there are other scenes where she doesn't seem to care at all or be concerned about it at all. Maybe she's bluffing. That's possible. She's feigning confidence and control in the situation. But for example, when Lex sneaks into her room, right? The first thing she does is back off and say, if I scream, my people will come running any moment. She is clearly concerned about a chosen coming in her room at night while she's in her bedclothes and what that could mean for her. And then another scene where she won't be concerned about Jaffa coming to her room, and he could do the same thing. So I don't know if she's bluffing because they do portray her as being aware that could be a concern, and then yet have her play it as though she's not worried about it other times. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
I get you.
I think for me, part of the problem is that they're keeping it all so vague and mysterious with what she's doing that you never know quite what it is she's trying to do, and so you don't really know how to react to it. So I find it very difficult to kind of decide how I feel about this scene, because I don't really know what we're supposed to be feeling that she's doing, if that makes sense.
Or maybe it's similar to what she was trying to do with Lex in season 1. She used his sexual attraction to her to try and change his viewpoint on things. She knew he wants me physically, and I'm going to use that to train him like a pup to be a better person. At least that was her goal.
Mm-hmm.
Until it didn't work, and then she just discarded him. Never mind, you're a hopeless cause. Maybe she's trying to do the same thing with the Guardian. She knows he's physically attracted. She knows she's got his interest. So maybe she's trying to use his physical attraction to her as a way to, I don't know. She thinks she can fix him. But this time she won't give up because she's evolved. Whereas Lex, she recognized that it was wrong to do what she did. And so now she's going to go hard or go home. Sometimes it's okay to quit. She took it to the extreme this time.
She certainly does, yeah.
What's your problem, Casey? My problem is you. And all your sellout chosen friends. The only decent one of you was Chloe. At least she tried to do something.
I'm sorry about Chloe. It wasn't my fault she got taken away. Look, I've got to play the part, Casey.
Yeah. And you're a really good actor. I'm sure Ryan's very proud.
Yeah, panel, how sorry are you feeling for Casey here?
You guys know I'm in his corner. This poor kid.
Mm-hmm. I feel really sorry for him because he's showing emotions. I don't feel like he's been showing so much emotions before, but this is his friend and she's got taken away and Salene doesn't care. She just claims to be innocent in it. So I'm totally on Casey's side and I get how he feels.
'Cause it's just ridiculous. I just feel so bad for KC because he's the only one who seems to care. At least from, those on the side of the Mallrats as he knows it. I just feel bad for the kid.
I will say Chloe's disappearance does spur something on in KC. Whereas last episode, he was more despondent about Chloe joining the Chosen. There was definitely more heartbroken edge to his energy. Like, how could you do this to us? Of all the people in this tribe I believed would never do this, it was you, Chloe. And this one, there's a lot more fire because he found out the reason Chloe is gone is because she was spying. And it lights something inside of him that he didn't actually lose Chloe the way he thought he'd lost her. Yeah, she pretended to join the Chosen, and it was because she was trying to help us. She, there's a part of him that realizes that he didn't lose her the way he thought he had. And it lights a fire under his butt. Like, I'm going to figure out a way to do something similar. I just noticed his energy change. There's a more, not a defensiveness. Offensiveness? I'm sorry, I can't think of the word, but his energy has definitely changed at knowing that Chloe went down because she hadn't really betrayed them. And there's a relief to that you can sense in KC.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
She's not like the rest of you, she's not like you, Salene or May or what he thinks Patsy is right now. She was a true Mallrat, You guys failed her. She did this because you guys failed her so hard. Question about Salene. It's a little offhand, but I didn't know if anyone else was curious about this. Now, Salene was adamant that nobody knows she was pregnant, right? And of course, I'm not going to begrudge her that. There are a lot of reasons you don't want to share that information with people. But I did think it was strange she didn't want the Mallrats to know, especially after the Chosen had taken over, and they're all questioning her for why she's joined them. She's so quick to use the baby as her new excuse. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad excuse or anything. I'm not villainizing her for that. I want that clear. But I just thought it was strange that she's so quick now to use the baby as the reason. Anytime anyone criticizes her about joining the Chosen, she'll constantly bring up the baby, the baby, the baby. And it's like, why didn't you want them to know in the first place when that is such a good reason for joining the Chosen? You didn't want your friends to judge you. You were so upset that they judged you. If you had just told them you were pregnant, they wouldn't have judged you, I just wondered, what do you think her reasons were for not wanting them to know she and Ryan were having a baby?
I think she didn't want people to think that was the reason Brian took her back.
Ooh.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not really thinking about Salene in this episode.
I wonder. I'm sorry, Salene, this is not going to make you look good, but I kind of wondered if maybe her not wanting anyone to know that she and Ryan was having a baby is because she was still kind of hoping that she wouldn't have to commit to the Ryan situation.
You took my thought, Liz. I was going to say I feel like she's kind of denying it as much as possible because she still has
Was she denying it to herself?
Yeah, because she still has a thing for Bray.
She never loved Ryan.
Yeah.
No.
Wondering, that's all.
I mean, maybe she was willing to admit it when she thought that Bray was dead, but now she didn't. But after that,
Never wanted anybody to know. Not even Ryan.
No.
From the very start,
She was going for, if I can ignore it, it'll go away.
I mean, we also have to ask the question of whether she was trying to think of whether she could get rid of it. Whether she really wanted to have his child.
Yeah, but if that was what she was wondering, what she was thinking, why didn't she just go to Tai San for some sort of witch's brew?
Because it's a lot harder to act on that thought.
Thinking about it. But...
And I don't think she would have acted on that thought, She can have it, and that's totally fair, but I don't think Salene would have acted on that. She'd be far more likely to try to foist that baby onto someone else like Bray than to get rid of it. At least in my opinion.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he had been stupid enough to let her into his bed?
Oh,
while she was pregnant.
He dodged a bullet so hard there.
Mm-hmm. She would have claimed it was his.
Oh, absolutely.
She would have never accepted it was Ryan's.
No,
Never.
no doubt.
She's like, Ryan? Ryan who? What are you talking about?
Yeah, she absolutely would have passed that baby off as Bray's if that situation never happened.
Huh. Why didn't she want anyone to know when it's such an easy excuse to use when people are judging you and you hate that they're judging you so harshly? Like, why not just tell them? She still didn't. It was Ryan who let it slip because he got sick of it. And she was still mad in that moment that he said anything. I was wondering what was going through her head.
Maybe trying to be kind to Salene. I'm not sure I necessarily believe this. Maybe she thought that if it did come out and it was a convenient excuse, then it would be too convenient an excuse, and she would then use that as a crutch to fall deeper and deeper into being part of the Chosen.
But she was already doing that just between she and Ryan. Whenever Ryan questioned her, she brought up the baby, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it for the baby, Ryan. Ryan, the baby needs good food, Ryan, the baby.
Yeah.
So I don't think she has a problem using it as a crutch.
No, fair enough. I tried. I'm sorry, Salene.
Hey, good shot, dude. Again, I'm not trying to villainize her. I'm just, it's just spitballing, just trying to figure it out.
Well, I want to villainize her a little bit because can we just talk about her reaction to Chloe's disappearance? Her defense was she was just pleading her innocence in the whole event, but she didn't have spared a thought for Chloe in that whole scene. Like, that was awful, I thought.
Yeah, it's really bad.
She is surrounded by other Chosen, in fairness.
Yeah, she is.
So she can't even spare a thought for Chloe being taken away?
Maybe not publicly.
Not even a little, sad she's gone? Or
I mean,
nothing?
even if she wouldn't have done that publicly, you later see her alone on the bed. She's not crying about Chloe, though. She's worried about Ryan's choice of clothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Not about Chloe being taken.
I think it's definitely just speaks to Salene as a person. Salene definitely thinks of herself first and foremost. There's a scene in, I think it may have been last week or the week before episode, where Ryan is upset that Chloe has joined the Chosen. And instead of acknowledging that it makes sense he would be upset about it and be concerned for her, all she could do is make it about herself. Like, oh yeah, Chloe's too strong, unlike me, your weak pregnant wife, So the fact that she does again make this about her and her innocence and doesn't seem to care, I understand her not expressing it verbally that she cares, but there's no twitch in her face, nothing in her expression that shows that she's worried or sad for Chloe's fate at all. I think it's just that's Salene at the end of the day, unfortunately. She hasn't worried about Chloe's safety through any of this. She's not even worried about Patsy, even though it was her idea for Patsy to join.
Mm-hmm.
She behaves as though it serves Chloe right for trying to play that game. That's how she behaves.
Almighty Zoot, we thank you for guiding Patsy through her initiation into the fifth circle.
Yeah, the creepy Chosen ceremony. So Trudy leads a ceremony to initiate Patsy into what they call the fifth circle of the Chosen. So yeah, let's dive into that. What do you make of Patsy's outfit and the ceremony itself?
I feel like we didn't get to see much of the outfit. Like, you just see a cloak or a hood or whatever. I would love to have seen a bit more of it.
Yeah, I agree. We see just such a tiny bit of her outfit, and we just get told that she's busy making preparations. Now we see such a small, tiny fragment of the ceremony. I truly would have loved to see more of that.
Like, I just opened the YouTube on the episode again, and you only see her wearing a cape, so you don't see what is underneath that cape. Is it a pretty something, or is it just the regular clothes with the yellow thing?
Oh, I assumed that this was, the ceremony after which Patsy would finally get her blue Chosen robes, because she's finally becoming a full Chosen member.
I just think it's strange that Patsy and Chloe are the only ones who joined who actually are elevating through the chosen ranks the way that you're supposed to. Like I get May. I understand what's going on with May. The Guardian's just using her, to do his dirty work that his chosen can't ever see him participating in. I get that. But for example, you have Salene, who there's never any talk about her being elevated and learning the studies and moving up in the studies. I think it's weird that Patsy and Chloe are the only ones they do this with. I would have liked to see more of this, the phases of becoming a chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the only two they do it with. And I'm with you, Sabine. I would assume this is the fifth circle means you finally get your chosen robe and become a chosen. Why do none of the other novices do this? We never see it. There's no pressure put on Salene to do any of this.
There is a conversation she has at one point with Luke where he says she's ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then she says she's worried about Ryan.
Yeah.
So they do address it for Salene and why she's not doing it.
They do, and I think it has to do with how dedicated they seem. For Patsy, it makes sense. He was before, she's come back to the fold. She knows the drill. She knows the things he's been fed, and they think they fully won her over.
Well, I would have liked to see more pressure put on the novices to do that, because it seems strange to me that the chosen would be totally okay with a novice not committed to moving up in their ranks and being dedicated to the chosen. That seems very odd to me.
Yeah, no, it is odd to me, especially considering the situation with them taking in babies for the chosen. You feel like they would have pushed her in a lot quicker.
But these are younger children.
Yeah, maybe they're more of a priority.
They're more of a priority, and they're still seen as little children. They haven't been spoiled by the grown-up world.
Okay, yeah, I guess that's true. There's an argument that you could mold their thoughts easier.
If you look at religions, children get more access more quickly in a lot of places because they're born into it, or the transgression from just starting out as a novice to being a full-fledged member of the community can go faster than when you're a grown-up, late teen who has already had a lot of different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I still think it's a missed opportunity to not show that being a novice, it's not just enough to say you're willing to listen to the word and then just float in that safe sphere where you're given extra food and not as many duties. It just seems like I would have preferred to see the novices put under a bit more pressure to continue proving their dedication and at least making an effort to wanting to be more, because then anybody could just say, okay, I'll be a novice. It means I don't have to do any work I don't want to. It means I get fed, and all I got to do is wear this yellow robe and go to prayer meetings. Who wouldn't do that? If that's really easy to just get a bunch of people who don't believe in your cause. If you're not pressuring them or pushing them or making it feel a little perilous to just sit in limbo, I mean, they're letting May be around the divine child, and nobody feels that they should be pressuring this girl to, at least prove that she's. It's just a little strange to me. Missed opportunity.
It is strange.
I'm just glad that at least with May, they mentioned that she was going to a prayer meeting, whereas Salene just peels potatoes, or supervised peeling potatoes.
Yeah.
She probably said she couldn't do it because she was pregnant.
Yeah, the toxins from the potato peel. Raw potato, it's bad for you.
We have to talk about the framing of this scene, because it was obviously quite obvious that Sarah Major wasn't in this scene. So, do you think this was a scene that they realized they hadn't included when she left, and then they realized they had to film it? It was very odd.
Possible.
Yeah. I tried to she says I do, and that's her voice. But I can't recall having heard her say I do in prior or earlier episodes. So obviously they have had her voice, but did I just edit it in?
Yeah, it sounded like ADR to
It
me.
feels like
That's
that.
what it felt like. Yeah, like she was obviously not in this scene. It's like they realized they had to include this scene, but she'd already left, so they had to go film it. But yeah, it's
I
odd.
felt a bit odd.
Mhm.
Because the more natural thing would be to show her face, like when she's hesitating.
Yeah.
And Trudy says something, and like show her face, how she's reacting, but we get nothing. Because she's not there.
I just think it's an odd choice to film this scene rather than a scene that shows her being taken. Same thing they didn't do with Chloe. That's weird.
That's the other thing. Yeah. Weird choice.
Because with this scene, they proved they could do a scene without the girls. You know, so why didn't Chloe and Patsy get a scene showing that they were doing something they weren't supposed to and got caught? Yeah. You know, why show the ceremony? Why do we need to see the ceremony? Especially when it doesn't matter because she's going to be gone.
She's gone. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. No, I think because they made such a big deal of there being a ceremony, and the fact that they later mentioned Patsy's punishment would be worse than Chloe's because she was already initiated. I think that might have had something to do with it, with them promising us a ceremony and then not having one would have been weird as well.
Mentioned there are scenes with Patsy after this. She's not gone, you know, so that's weird that this is filmed the way it is when we are going to get Patsy in other scenes.
Yeah,
there's quite a few scenes after this.
Yeah, I was like, for a second, I was like, wait a minute, Patsy has a bunch of scenes left.
Yeah,
before she's gone.
I double take. It's like, oh, she's not gone yet.
Yeah, like she's not gone yet.
It must have been filmed out of order. That's the only kind of.
And they've just edited.
As they always do.
Yeah, because they realized they'd written the ceremony in, they'd filmed the scenes after it, and then they realized, oh wait, now she's gone. She had to leave, and then they hadn't filmed that ceremony scene itself, so they're like, okay, we have to add it.
Maybe they had filmed it and there was something wrong with it, or there was a cameraman in shot or something.
Yeah,
that's another possibility. Yeah.
But if they had filmed it, they could have had close-ups of her face.
Yeah, of her face.
That's
like
true.
Just to add that in. Yeah, splice that in. Like
we are confused, you guys. We thought no, seriously. We thought this is a big ceremony until she gets her chosen robes, and then I'm realizing she never gets her chosen robes. She's still in the novice robes after this.
Oh yeah.
So what is the importance of the fifth freaking circle? They film it. It's so ominous and so important, and she's still in her yellow novice robe after this.
That's true.
That's why we need more information about the chosen and the ceremonies.
Yes.
Yes, we needed way more because they act like this is so important, but nothing seems to change for Patsy after this. I mean, she gets a tiny bit more freedom, but no more than Salene has.
Yeah, I didn't really. That's true.
It doesn't change anything, really. It gave her confidence. That's what it did. It gave Patsy the confidence to go full spy, and she does, bless her heart. Maybe that's all this did, because at the end of the day, this ceremony doesn't actually seem to mean anything.
No.
Yeah, the Chosen stopped being... I mean, they still explore the cult ideas very well and how that affects people, and I will always give them props for that, because that they handled incredibly well throughout this entire season. But the Chosen as an entity and the threat that they actually are, I feel they just dropped the ball. They are just an obstacle, you know? And there's just so much more we could have learned about them and keep up that sense of threat. But there really isn't. You're really in no danger. Just chill. Just chill in your room until you have to be called to a work party. They're not even frisking you. You know how much food you could sneak back? You can sneak everything back, including a laptop.
Actually, I feel sorry for you.
Me?
Well, when this is all over, when the Chosen are beaten, and when the Guardian joins his chosen powers in Zoot Heaven, some people are going to want to settle some old scores. And guess who's going to be top of the list?
And you'll be selling the tickets, right?
But with a tear in my eye.
Yeah, Carlin, this is the sexy scene you've been waiting for. What did you think?
Well, first off, y'all are making too much of a big deal out of this. They're sparring. This is what you're supposed to do. If anything, it's reminiscent to that amazing scene we saw in Mr. and Mrs. Smith with the exact same chemistry of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. This was great. This was obviously just sparring, and I don't know why Pride stopped him. He wasn't going to do anything. This is what they always do.
Thank you.
You thought he was going to jump?
Yeah, I mean, nothing was going to happen. This is what they do. Their chemistry, I'm not saying all of it, but like a good 60% of it is just like frustration, right? Physical frustration with each other. And that's fine.
I actually do like the scene a lot. My only, I love the choreography between Ebony and the first guy she's fighting. I thought that was well done. We rarely get very good choreography in the show, and that was a nice fight scene between those two. I thought that was cool. Aside from the fact that everybody fights with sticks in this city now, that's okay. Since when does Bray fight? I just think this is funny that he gets up there, like she picked him of all people. Let's show these kids how it's done. And I'm like, Ebony, when was the last time you saw Bray fight anyone? Anyone.
The only reason she wanted Bray to show them how it's done with her was so she could have something to do with Bray, which might involve physical contact.
Which I'm totally fine with, but he shouldn't be able to fight. We know Bray can't. The only time you see Bray fight is back in season 1 when Triumph Circus attacked. Like, that is it. He's not allowed to fight because it's not sexy. So him doing his little fighting stance, I was like, where did this come from? You spent an entire season you weren't allowed to fight or be in any physical conflict ever.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this would have been a little bit more realistic if they would have used pillows instead, but that's just me.
Oh, it's Bray's big secret. That's what he has been doing when we haven't seen him.
He just hit him in the back of the head. It works every time.
I'm watching that scene and all thinking, why on earth does Bray always instantly lose every fight if he can do this? Why doesn't he ever show he can do this except when it's to play around with Ebony?
Yeah.
Can he only do this when he's near Ebony?
Like, ignoring all of that, I do like seeing the physical manifestation of the rage she's brought down upon herself. She has pushed him this far that he gets physical with her. Think of all the things that Ebony put him through. And this is finally the time where Bray is like, I want to kill you. That's how angry I am. She has done so much damage to this guy. And he never did anything to her. The most he ever did was give her a verbal slap, and that's it. This time he gets physical. We don't see Bray doing that. So again, in its own bubble, it just says a lot. And I like the visual of how angry he is. It's just simmering. And it finally explodes here. And she's so shocked by it. Probably because she's gotten away with doing so much damage to him. And Bray has never actually gotten her back or done anything back to her. He always ends up forgiving her, blah, blah, blah. And for the first time, she is paying the piper with him because she's been in denial about how angry he is at her. I like that. She just thinks, hey, Bray, spar with me. Everything's cool with us, ain't it, man? He said I could stay because I was only going to stay with the rebellion if Bray said it was okay. And he said it was. So he can't really be upset with me. Bray's never really upset with me. And this time he is. And she's like, what? She had the shocked Pikachu face. Bray, no! Girl, you had this coming. Are you crazy?
She absolutely had it coming.
He let you live after what you did with his niece, his sister-in-law. Like, you tried to kill his tribe guru. You tried to frame the light of his life for it. Like, oh my goodness.
And you pretended you buried his girlfriend.
I mean, how much do you
forget
think...
the picture he showed her?
Oh my goodness. Telling everybody I abandoned my imaginary baby.
Yeah.
And he slept with my brother.
Yeah.
Gross. You dumped me and slept with my brother. This all started with her dumping him.
No, the frustration is definitely justified.
He's the last person you should have picked to play with, Ebony.
But just to pick up on what Colin said earlier, do you think Bray would have ever really done the killing blow?
In that moment?
No.
I think
he stopped himself.
I don't think he would have. Not in that moment. I think he would have killed her. He wanted to hurt her, though.
He would have severely injured her.
That's why Pride stopped him, because I don't think Bray was thinking, oh, I'm gonna kill her. I'm actually going to end her life. I think he just didn't care about what damage he did to her. Pride recognized that. I think he was going to bring that thing down on her. She probably would have survived it, but the point is, this isn't what sparring is. We're not trying to do damage to each other. And it's clear that that's where Bray was. He already had her down on her knees. When you're sparring, there's an agreement. Once you've disarmed the other person, that round is over. Bray did not care. And Pride saw that. He's like, you're trying to hurt her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was consciously thinking about what he was doing. He was just following through in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a chance to attack her and take out his anger.
He just wanted to see her sweat, as we all do.
Oh, she was sweating.
Yep. She was shocked.
I like the moment after with Lex, because I think this starts the wheels turning in Ebony's head. Like, having Bray Hulk out on her for the first time, because he never has. Not like this. Oh, he's made threats. He's gotten loud. He said mean things. But she's always been able to, wheel him back in, no matter how bad a thing she's done to him. I think this was a wake-up call for her, that this may not all end as well for her as she thinks, because Bray has always been her ally, no matter what she's done to him. And Lex is pointing it out, girl, you've even lost him. That's how bad you've messed up. Without Bray as your ally, what are you going to do when this is all over? And it sets the wheels in motion for what she will do to ensure her safety when this is all over. I almost feel bad for her here, because again, she's her own worst enemy. And I had a very toxic relationship with my first love as well. And I couldn't get past the fact that our relationship was over. And I fell in and out of infatuation with him. And it would get ugly, and we wouldn't talk to each other for a while, but then we'd always make up and everything would be great and we'd be buddies again. And it would inevitably end up the same way. And this went on for a good 5 years, I guess, from the day we met. And then finally I pushed it too far, and he made the adult choice to exit my life permanently. And because I just had gotten so used to that being our cycle, and I was young and immature and self-serving, that I didn't recognize that I couldn't push this person like this forever. Like, this couldn't stay our cycle. Something was going to have to give. And finally one night it gave. And that was it. And I recognized right away my guilt, and that there was no way to repair it. I held on hope. I thought I could repair it somehow. But he was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this dance with you anymore. We are unhealthy for each other. And that was it. So I've been there watching Ebony do this,
That leads us to our final thoughts of the episode. So, having covertly managed to somehow get their hands on a computer, Alice and Ellie print out a resistance leaflet and show it to Patsy. However, we end the episode with the knowledge that Luke has seen them. So yeah, what did you make of the cliffhanger?
I find Alice and Ellie incredibly stupid for both sitting at the computer with their backs to the door. You're doing something illegal. Shouldn't one of you be keeping watch? That's one thing. And the printer, it kind of makes a lot of noise.
Yep.
Why didn't anyone come in sooner?
And why show it if you don't want to blow her cover?
Yeah, and why does she have the same red mark on her cheek as the rebels? It's a giveaway. It doesn't make sense.
Why would you have the computer set up so that if anyone just looked in the door, they could see it? Why isn't this on the floor behind a table? You know what I mean?
And face the door so you know it's people up there.
And this once again shows that this scene was absolutely, already shot before they did the whole ceremony thing.
Yeah.
I find it a bit disappointing. Now, we have Alice and Ellie willing to endanger the youngest members of their tribe by pushing them into the Chosen and being spies for them. They've already lost one, and these two don't care. And the second one's out there in danger. And it's like, okay, so what are you guys doing? What is your big plan in this resistance? Yeah. And I'm like, flyers?
Like, how did we get the paper and the print? The package wasn't big enough to include both a printer and a computer.
I just kind of assumed that they got all the bits of the computer like in parts and then put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't frisk these kids when they come back from the work party? Are you serious? No, there's some of the things they had to have brought back to get that set up that would have been noticeable. The laptop is thin. Fine. You don't notice the laptop. But they obviously had to get a car battery to power this thing.
Yeah.
They had to get the printer. They had, if you're saying they got the stuff in bits and pieces, some of these pieces would have been noticeable. Okay. I cannot believe they're not being checked after being out there. Even if you're just being petty and you want to make sure they didn't steal food, you're not checking them for anything.
And remember, they're supposedly chained as they're being transported
Exactly.
from locations.
And I was like, May's flyer, and hers was just a way to get her hands on the rebels for Jaffa. Made more sense. It's propaganda, you know? But theirs is just defeat the like, are you serious? This is what you guys are doing? This is your contribution? Just you're just killing trees at this point. Like,
they're doing nothing.
They're doing nothing.
Why have they gone to all this trouble to get a computer, but just to print a flyer when they could just write it on a piece of paper?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's true.
They're spray painting this stuff, like,
and they look so pleased with themselves when it comes out as well.
I know. Oh my gosh.
And still, and this is the part with the computer is still this tiny part that annoys the heck out of me. Brian knows and Alice knows KC can get his little grubby hands on anything they can possibly think of.
Yeah.
Yet they go through all that to get it themselves.
Allie and Andy printed T-shirts to promote the Supreme Mother. These guys just printed a sentence, and they're like, "Yup, we're bringing them down." And I'm just like, "You are way too proud of yourselves for this." And so I found it very disappointing. So it's like, okay, what are these girls working on? What are they cooking up? What is their contribution going to be that's going to put them in danger? And it's this, really?
Yeah.
It'd been great if they were like printing propaganda cartoons that made the Guardian look really awful.
The Guardian in his women's health?
Yeah, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But this is it. It was very disappointing.
They should have done something that would really tear the Chosen down and not just try to spread hope.
Yeah, but this doesn't even spread hope.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, like, even something as simple as, Bray's alive, don't believe the lies. You know what I mean? Something simple that could provide a little bit
Amber
of hope.
lives.
Like, I mean, yeah, they don't know, they don't really know Amber, but because, Bray's alive. You know what I mean? Like, they don't believe the lies of the Chosen. Like, that would have given at least a bit of hope. But, yeah, that message was just tame and dull and pointless.
Like, they could have been real Reddit trolls. The Chosen eat babies. You know what I mean? Like, just go off and say the most ludicrous, horrible, like, reputation damaging things about the Chosen. If you're going to risk being out there and sneaking these flyers out there, that's what you should be doing, not this lame stuff.
And Ellie should know this. She ran the amulet.
Exactly. She knows how important a headline is. Out of touch. I was just like, I was hoping for so much more.
Her spirit jack is gone, so she can't ride anymore.
If you're going to go through all this trouble, all this risk to get this equipment, what they printed out needed to be something more. It needed to be impressive. And this was just like, that's it. That's what you guys are willing to get caught for.
You want to at least use a bit of clip art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for Luke spying, it's telling that he doesn't instantly go in and stop them.
Did anything ever come of that?
Later, when Ellie gets caught posting these lame flyers, a predatory relationship is what comes of it.
But just think about it. These girls with this flyer, and Patsy standing there with them.
I was going to say, there's no repercussion for knowing Patsy's a spy. Yeah.
Patsy, who just, join
the fifth circle.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's massive. Yeah.
But we later hear him say that he, to get Chloe into the mines, blah blah. But it's that he wasn't quick enough with Patsy. But I mean, clearly he should have an opinion on this.
It's odd. Yeah.
Becomes incredibly emotionally compromised by being in the mall and actually dealing with resistant people who are resistant to the chosen cause. I wonder if Luke has ever really had to do that before, because he falls prey to being close to these people and not wanting them to be punished whenever they mess up, which is interesting since he's such a devoted chosen. He should already understand it's what needs to be done. But we see his sympathies for the Supreme Mother. We see that he tried to save Patsy. He should be thinking she's he should be thinking she's a traitor. You know, he's incredibly sensitive to Salene. The only person he seems to be really irritated with is like Casey and May. But everybody else, he tries to protect Alice when she's throwing a tantrum at the food line. Like, I kind of wonder if the only people that Luke has actually encountered in this kind of way have been people who were quick to join the Chosen and hasn't actually had to deal with the everyday person who would be afraid and resistant and not really want this and have it forced on them, you know, because other people in the past, people went to the Chosen voluntarily. You know, there were people who wanted it.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that a bunch of people have been literally forced to do it. I wonder if that is affecting him and his loyalties. Like seeing the reality of having this forced on people. No, they don't go into it gladly and they fight it in their own ways. And he's very sensitive to it. Just interesting. It's one thing to be told they'll be glad, they'll accept Zoot into their hearts and stuff, but then to see, you know, firsthand, no, they're not. They're just scared and they don't feel they have a choice, you know, and their loyalties are divided.
But the only people he tries to protect are the people who are trying to protect others or claim they protect others. Because he can tell Casey and May later on, they're in it for themselves. But Salene has the baby. Cloe and Patsy, they're just children. They're scared. Ellie, well, she's hot. You know, from his point of view. But yeah, I think that's a difference for him there, because even Ellie and Alice are, you know, trying to look after their group, whereas the other two are just trying to better themselves. So I do think he respects that people do respond certain ways because they're fighting for something bigger than just themselves.
Helped if we got to see more of the Chosen teachings,
Mm-hmm.
so we could have a better understanding of what these kids actually are being told to believe, because Luke often uses the teachings as a way to explain why he's being so merciful and understanding, or he could just be cherry picking parts of their teachings so that he feels better about whatever he's doing. That's possible too.
Well, that is what most people within religions do.
Yeah. I don't want to punish this pretty blonde girl, so I will pick something in my religion that justifies it, you know.
You never punish a blonde because all the blondes are good.
And yeah, I'm about to backhand Alice because she's pissing me off. It would have been a good cliffhanger if something came of it, but nothing does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Luke does nothing about this. They're not in danger. Nobody's watching them. Their room doesn't get raided. Patsy doesn't get berated. Nothing comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not much of a cliffhanger at the end of the day.
No. I would have at least liked to see Luke struggling with himself about what to do with this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice. This was kind of boring, to be honest.
Or clarify what he actually is seeing. Like, what's in his line of sight as he's looking into the room? Can he see the printer? Can he see what they're doing? Or does he just think they're in the room talking and he's trying to figure out what they're talking about? Like, it doesn't help that we don't really know what Luke is actually seeing.
He must have heard those 90s printer. Very loud.
Yeah.
Echoing in the mall corridors.
He just says, "Oh, let them have their little luxuries."
I was laughing watching it because I was like seeing how slow it was as she was trying to take it. It was printed. I was like, oh, I miss those days.
No. Yeah, that was a premier printer. Given the time, like what the average printer you would have found at that time, they had the best tech.
No, they had the tech that Jack accumulated. So the stuff. You know, at the time when they were handing out the antidote, they could get hold of anything they wanted. So
Yeah,
they
but
had
this-
a decent printer.
But they made it clear that this wasn't the
This
stuff
was what
that
they grabbed, yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is stuff they grabbed. This isn't the stuff that they got during season 2. This is stuff they had to collect to do this. So it's hard to believe they were able to get such state-of-the-art stuff in that desperate situation. Because wouldn't it have been funny if they were like, we need a computer, but the only thing anyone could find him was like this bulky Mac. That was it. Like, it was like, how am I supposed to sneak that back into the ball?
Under your skirt, Sally.
Clench your thighs as you're walking back.
All right, cool. That brings Series 3, Episode 13 to a close. Thank you very much to our panel and guest podcaster. And if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast, please do send us a message on our Facebook page or on our website, thetribe.co.uk. So we will see you next time for Episode 14. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.